Good morning, everyone. This is the Kubeflow CNCF graduation call on 23rd of September. As always, we record this meeting and publish on YouTube, and we follow the CNCF code of conduct. So please be welcoming to each other. Um, so yeah, like we have a few updates today to talk about regarding our recent sync up 2 weeks ago. Before we get started, any maybe new people here in the call, just want to say hello before we get started? Feel free to like use chat to unmute yourself if you want to say hello to the community. Otherwise, we'll just go through updates. All right. So, yeah. Hi, Sahil. Do you want to say introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm a software engineer at Adobe, and recently I've been interested in contributing in open source projects. So, I've been looking to CNCF incubating projects currently and found out Kubeflow very interesting, and I wanted to contribute on the ML side of the Kubernetes. Uh, that's all from my side. So I'm just trying to get into the things and trying to understand whole infra and architecture around Kubeflow and how it's helping the Kubernetes as a whole.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for joining this calls. Yeah, I mean, we have like, as you know, we have like a lot of different calls within the community, and the work group calls, community calls, these graduation calls. So feel free to check out our website. We have like this calendar there, and usually all the different projects and working groups host their own meetings. So please join, and looking super exciting to work with you. If you want to learn more about anything else there. Any specific project you are interested in, or you just want to, start to familiarize yourself with the community and what we do here to build the infrastructure?
So I've been interested in machine learning and AI.
Hmm.
So I'm looking into that space. I mean, wide variety of projects, but I've started with Kubeflow only right now. So
Okay.
not sure whether to move ahead with it or like. Uh, so I'm just trying to understand and get around the community first.
Yeah, makes sense.
Are you like a
Yeah.
Go developer or a front-end developer? If you are, then join the notebooks meeting.
Yeah, I'm
I'm,
front end and I'm mostly front end right
it's
now.
still, we
Yeah.
can use front ends, yeah, as long as you know React.
Yeah, yeah, it's
If you are,
React
then we
only.
have a meeting at this time on Thursdays for notebooks.
Okay, thanks.
I'm always a sales guy for notebooks.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Feel free to check out like the calendar and the working group. So all the well, there are a lot of meetings during the week. So definitely there are things you can help with to push this forward. So thanks for this. Um,
Okay.
or anyone else, or we can get started. All right. So yeah. So like I think from the last 2 weeks, a couple of updates. We're still working on CNCF to see how we can triage our issue. Because there is a queue, right? There are several projects before us. We kind of like already ping a few of them to see if we can move forward. I think there is not real to work from our side at this point. Because like I know that Andy you might have has completed the OpenSF for notebooks, right? So thanks for this, by the way.
Oh,
Okay.
what's the status on the kube? Is there anyone lacking there? Is there anything else?
Yeah, it looks like so if you open my application, the tab, I think I checkbox everything there.
Just search.
Yeah, open SSF.
That's suggested.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is suggest. Yeah, this one.
So we did pipelines?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think right now we have three for all these projects, if I remember correctly. I did this for Katib and for
So
um
we're about to merge the one for notebooks. We found a bug that we had to fix.
mhm.
And we're glad we didn't merge it before because it kind of spammed issues into the repo because we have
Okay.
two branches. We have notebooks v1 and v2, and if you don't upload it correctly, it doesn't tag your issue to the right branch, and it tries to put all of it on main.
Okay.
So when you upload it, so the tip there is when you're using the Trivi upload, no, sorry, when you're using the GitHub code scanning upload, make sure you set the ref and branch correctly. There's like a secret parameter on the upload into the code scanning if you use
Okay.
multiple branches. Otherwise, it just assumes that whatever your checkout is, at the beginning of your GitHub action, it assumes that that's the correct one. But if you're running a nightly build on the main branch, like a nightly scan, it will be running in the context of the main branch, even though it might check
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
even though it might later check out a different branch, you know? So
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. And I guess like, this ref parameter part of this action, right? The trivia action.
yeah, so what it does is it connects it to a specific code commit because for code scanning, it's a
Okay.
code, it's a specific, because the issue can be resolved by a specific commit. And so you have to
Okay.
specify the branch and, sorry, ref and
Yeah,
yeah,
SHA probably, right? You
yeah,
have to
ref and
convert
SHA,
this one, right?
which are both
Mhm.
outputs of the git checkout task. So
Okay.
you should use that output from there. And Andy can help you if anyone has any questions and has
Yeah,
multiple.
yeah, that makes sense. I think it's only Notebooks which has this kind of setup right now because a lot of projects using main
Yes,
for their master branch. So
probably yes. So Notebooks uses multiple branches because we have multiple versions currently.
yeah. And this PR is not been yet merged, right?
It should be ready to merge today. Yes.
Yeah, 571, right?
Yep.
All right. So yeah, like I think for other repos, if I remember correct, pipelines implemented this. Spark operator already has it. Already through the same, and they've done this for trainer and Katib. So
Also, we should also get people security reviewer groups if they want them because we figured out a way how to do that now.
hmm
So like if you have people who have write access to the repo, they'll have access to it by default. But if
Yep.
you want people who don't have write access, then
Yeah. So it's a good point. So I think like the call to action, like from all the working groups to
we should,
allow maintainers to see it, right? Yeah.
I think we should just create a security group for each team either way, just so that there's a clear group of people who we think are responsible, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
obviously
Like
some have a lot of writers, you know?
I think that's right. Like, yeah. So I know, like, for example, like for SDK and for trainer, we'll be using these team groups so they can do milestones. So I think maybe if you have a team of your project, you can assign the security to this team if you can delegate them, right? Because I mean, for the majority, as we discussed last time, projects like the people who maintain it, they probably will do triaging as of now because we don't have dedicated security team. Um,
Well, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like, so I think it's good for each group to identify who's responsible to actually triage the issues, right? And so if
hmm
there's like 20 approvers, you don't necessarily want everyone. It's
Yeah.
when there's a tragedy of the commons, right? If everyone thinks everyone else is responsible, then no one does it. So,
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
so we've got
And.
4 people assigned on notebooks. So yes. So
And those whole people like do they only do triaging or they also maintainers?
usually it's best to have people who are familiar with a particular component. So we try and represent each of the main components of notebooks in it. So front end,
Okay.
back end, and controller.
Okay.
And obviously images and stuff. But images we're not really scanning right now. So when I
Okay.
say images, I don't mean the built images. I mean the ones for notebooks, but that's separate.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. But I
Um,
mean, yeah, like once we have like more active maintainers, and that definitely would make sense. But yeah, it will really tricky because we have like 6 projects under our Kubeflow umbrella, and like we need to figure out. And
well, I
some
think
of
this
those projects may have
can
more maintainers, right? Some of them have less maintainers, but yeah.
I think this can just be a request, right? That it's like, please identify who is responsible just so that we can pester them if things get raised,
Mhm.
right? Like, so we should have a list. Even it's probably okay for it to be public because of the permission things being public, but I feel like, you know, and other communities often have kind of a regular security report that goes to the
Yep.
group, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. We kind of like, we kind of more complex because we have 6 individual independent sub projects, right? So it's
We
kind
can
of
treat
like,
it more like a foundation. Like we could treat it like, like even if we just view each project as autonomous, we can still say, hey, please send a quarterly report to the KSC with how well the security situation is going. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, yes, yes. I mean, if some of the companies willing to allocate resources, some of the folks actually individuals wants to be there, definitely. I think this is something we want to have, right? Um, yeah, it's
Because otherwise it's hard to know
good
what's
point.
going on, right? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. But basically, those people should be actively, involved in the development, understand the code base, right? And
I was meaning
send.
more like we just have a quarterly, very brief 1 page thing that
hmm
says how healthy is the project. I think we should do this anyway, right? Like not just for security. It's like how
Yeah,
healthy is your project? Is it what's
yeah,
your
yeah.
like
Like.
how much community engagement do you have? How many users do you have?
Eventually, like, all the working groups or like, whether we want to change this in the future should send the reports
Yes.
to similar to what Kubernetes is doing, right? So Kubernetes working groups has annual reports, right? We don't do this as of today, right? Like if and working groups can be, can retire, working groups can, can be formalized. So we definitely need to have this. We just never really get a chance to follow this over like the last since 2019, right?
So this is something that I feel like will help us graduate if we, like, I know that this is
Yeah.
not like right now, but I do think we should plan for this because it
Yeah.
demonstrates a very mature project to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I think it's at some point like we definitely should talk about whether this working group governments work well for Kubeflow, right? Because again, the thing is like working groups make sense for Kubernetes because this is how the government is designed for. Like they have six, they have working groups, right? And working groups kind of temporary thing. The question is for us, like usually, some of the components or projects of Kubeflow focusing on individual, sub-projects. For example, you're working on pipelines, right? You're not really talking about domain of ML pipelines, right? You're just focusing on this project, right?
Mhm.
So, which means like, whether the governments of working groups, the governments of sub-projects would work better for us. So this is the open question we still have and need to
So
have a
I
discussion.
think we just kind of accidentally used the word working group for what Kubernetes calls a SIG.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying? I don't think it's not like, I think we should try and make the current situation work rather than trying something different first. Because it's not like, I think the core principle that we did when we formed the working groups was that each project is an independent project in the end. And I think that seems still sensible. Then there's the separate question, like what you're saying, Andre, about having cross-cutting projects. But
Yep.
if we don't have core projects, then we don't have any projects. So like,
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, this kind of things that are dependent for this. Like, I think like, so our goal was to maybe after graduation, we should have this conversation with the community. We established the working group proposal in 2019, right? Like, is it like the good thing for us? Or, we want to change something in terms of project ownership, right? And the project maintenance and stability, etc. So,
I think just
anyway,
understanding the current state. I think that's what I was asking about for that. Like,
yeah.
let's do some kind of regular report or just even a one-off report being like, how healthy is each of the projects?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Mm-hmm.
and how can we improve it? Because it's not like a permanent, oh, it's not healthy right now. It's okay. There's something that we need to improve. I don't know. Anyway,
Yep.
so what's our status? Sorry, I forgot. We're getting sidetracked. What's
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. So I think security looking good. So again, like we need to merge these PRs, right, for notebooks, for Trivi and other projects, if I remember correctly. All of them have already have Trivi, right?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Those ones that'll be done. The question I have is, are we doing this OSS fuzz? Like, so for the security stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is
Yeah.
the only
So for
thing listed.
the fuzz, right? So some of those PRs already actually been merged, if I remember.
So
Um,
are we standardizing on this, or are we just, this seems like it was merged by people outside the community, right? So
Yeah. So it's actually so Adam, right? So is the folks who is doing actually security review, security audit helps us to set up those fuzz pipelines, right? Which runs on our sub projects. And I think they're sending the reports to the maintainers. Yeah, I will double check with Adam if they need anything from our side. Maybe they just need emails from the maintainers for each project, so they will get notified.
so this was actually the bottom on the whatever this is called. A lot
Mhm,
of projects have done this, right? Like dynamic unmet.
mhm.
Technically OSS fuzz is one of them.
Okay.
So like this means you might be able to exceed parsing if you have this enabled. Matteo, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I just want to add to this point. So as you know, in Model Registry, we already implemented this one in the past with the schemathesis. So the way that we've been doing fuzzy testing specifically for Model Registry is that from the Python, say, client, we have also the schemathesis. It's like a fuzzer for the REST API, and we call it, we actually detected a few bugs thanks to this schemathesis. In addition to that, there is this OSS fuzz that I'm starting now to receive Bugzilla, but Bugzilla report are like about a parser in Go that sort of like goes in Stack Overflow and other sort of like a panic faults that I'm not really sort of like confident about what actually are reporting for. So my question, I've raised a Slack thread about it my question is like, it's really useful to have this OSS fuzz, because in the way that it's configured, frankly speaking, I'm starting to, I have difficulty in extracting the value of it. So what I'm acted on is that I've asked a couple of other approvers in the project to also join me in triaging these Bugzilla reports, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. But from the modularity point of view, we were happy with the schematis. We have actually good return on experience on using schematis, but we are not finding the same value from these OSS fuzz. So I
Is
just
part
want
of the can you quantify? Is it just that it's not reporting actual issues, or is it that it's not in the common place, like the code? Are you using the code scanning section of GitHub, or are you?
No, this one will report to you separately, because this one will send you a Bugzilla from OSS fuzz. This is not integrated. The thing that the security audit company made is like, it will set up these 6 projects in OSS fuzz. So you have another external system where you see the report for these fuzzing tools, and they reach to you via Bugzilla email.
What I'm saying is that okay, or is that not okay?
Well, I mean, to receive a Bugzilla email is not the problem. The problem is that as you investigate this Bugzilla issue, it's not clear to me what is actually testing, because I don't think that it's testing what is meant to be testing. For example, for us, the fuzzer makes a lot of value in the REST API. We detected quite a lot of issue, but sort of like fuzzing, like sometimes you have Unicode escape characters. We had Alessio that sort of like fixed a few bugs when only a different type of database was used in the backend and so on. But these from these OSS fuzz, we are not extracting the values, and the report that we have been receiving are like, it's not really clear what is.
So how does it, so this was actually a question I had, which was, how does it work? Does it actually
I don't know.
does it run the app, or does it look at the code?
It looks like it's looking at the Go code, but to me, it's not really doing what it's meant to be doing.
Is that because it's configured wrong, or just because it can't understand very complicated code?
At this moment, I cannot answer to this question. I've asked the other people to join me because I'm not understanding the Bugzilla report.
And
Yeah.
but so the one that you say was working, did you have to configure it to point to how does that one work? Does that one do dynamic analysis, or is that done?
So schematis does dynamic analysis and fuzzer. So basically what you do is that you set up it like similar to a PyTest. You configure it to say, hey, these are my endpoints. And sort of like it will generate some test cases for you. And what is helpful is that in the case that it crashes, we have it wired through the direction. So it will tell you, oh, this is actually invocation of the REST API failed because I've used this payload, so that you can go on and investigate it.
All right. So in that case, I guess like you still had this, what is Bugzilla, right? You're talking about, Matteo, in the model registry.
Yeah, I mean, I started to receive it in my email about this OSS fuzz report.
Okay.
For now, I am not asking for a specific action, but what I want you to be aware of is that I've asked other approvers, maintainers of moderator, to join me in triaging these Bugzillas, because I'm not really seeing the value out of this system of how it's configured, or at least, let's say, just without any, I would say, training about how they really wanted to have it set up. I don't think that it's not, at least so far, it is not giving us any value.
So,
all right.
Makes sense.
If compared to the schema thesis, because the schema thesis, we have a couple of PRs where indeed is like, it crashed and it was telling, oh, I've tried the REST API in this way, and actually Alessio recognized, oh yes, this is genuinely a bug, and so we extract a lot of value out of it.
I wonder if it sounds like it's also just not finding issues, but even if it was finding issues, I like standardizing in the GitHub scanning section. You know what I mean? Because you can turn those into a CVE very easily as well, and track the release of it. It's quite nice. If you go into like if you find a bug, you can say, yes, that's a real bug. We're going to disclose it on this date because it's been patched in this version. And then it just becomes a CVE, which is kind of cool. But
maybe it will be possible, but I don't think that is the way that it's set up now, because it's sort of like it's like a SAS on the OSS fuzz. So it's an external system that is doing this analysis for you. So it will need to have the authentication to send the Sarif.
So let's
to
work
the
with
pod.
them and see if we can improve it, right?
Yeah.
And then if it's not helpful, we can remove it, right? It's not, or if each project can choose whether they want to use it, obviously, as well. So.
Yeah, let's maybe, I know, like, Matteo, you have a thread with Adam, right, on our security section, right? Let's maybe have a follow-up with this and have some thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. At this moment, I wanted to share it with you because we've been trying to onboard. So, for example, this one is one point. Another point that I wanted to share is that we onboarded the scorecard, OpenSSF scorecard. So that is working actually nice. So let's say we are quite pleased with the thing. There is only one caveat, is that it's reporting for some checks. For example, the TRIV or the CodeQL scans are reported twice because the OpenSSF scorecard runs OpenVuln, which is like, again, doing the vulnerability scanning. So we are ending up with kind of like duplicated reports of things that also we sort of like triaged already.
But are they in the code scanning section for the OpenSSF?
Correct. So it will report to you as a single like issue in the code scanning repo, and it will tell you your project looks like is subject to these vulnerabilities, and they will list you the CV IDs of the vulnerabilities. This is what the scorecard is doing right now.
And all right, that's weird. Okay, I mean,
it's a bit weird, but the problem that kind of like the challenge that I'm trying, and I have actually raised a GitHub issue to the OpenSSF scorecard GitHub action where I've asked, can I keep all of the report except the vulnerability scanning?
yeah, I was about to say that seems like I think not OpenSSF. What's it called?
OpenVuln.
What's the scanning thing that actually triggered this?
So
No, we have Trivia, we have OpenSSF, right, and we have Fossa.
Then what's causing the OpenSSF? Oh wait, are you saying that Trivy is detecting OpenSSF?
No, I'm saying something different. So Trivy and CodeQL scanning, I'm happy with the way that is currently set up. Now, as part of the graduation, we have received 6 pull requests to introduce OpenSSF scorecard, different from the badge. So it's a scorecard, is like another badge if you want, for the 6 project. That I like it. I love it. And it will give you like, oh, are the GitHub actions configured correctly? Are the release done? Is there, like this one. So I like it. The thing that I don't like too much is that the vulnerability section there, it's reporting like duplicate for us. Because at the very top, if you scroll at the top, the vulnerability is there. It's reporting about some CVE that we already sort of like went through with either
and confirmed that it's not real. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and basically I said, no, we are not using this code path or whatever it is. So, and the problem is that also is like, it's reporting as in one shot. So
this is why I like the code scanning thing, right? Because in the case that it's a real vulnerability, you can disclose it responsibly. You know, you can say this is a real vulnerability. We're going to fix it and then release a new version. Say it's released.
Please don't do it on record. But if you do the drop down button on the second line, it will tell you the CVE numbers there.
I mean, from a like these numbers are available publicly, so it's not like, you know what I mean? Like anyone can run any scan, of course. Of course, making it easy is a separate discussion.
It's another thing. But I mean, the point to me is that these, so the second line there, where it calls about vulnerabilities, that is like a duplicate for us.
So why did we add this? Like, if this is mostly, so what did we get in addition? So let's say we turned off the vulnerabilities, or we just didn't use this. What would we lose?
Yeah, like, why do we need scorecard, actually, Matteo? I was also wondering.
Yeah, it's like we had still Adam raising the 6 pull request for the scorecard.
Just because, I mean, we get to, like, because we also don't want it to reflect, if it's incorrect, we really don't want it to reflect on the project. But my question for you is there any value to it? And if so, where can we get that value elsewhere if this tool doesn't work, you know? Like your...
I think that is actually, it's like you know the LFX Insights that works at the overall Kubeflow point. So this one I like it because it's like it shows like a drill down for each of the project. So I have to say, I like this kind of like a report because it's sort of like it shows a value of the specific project contributing to the overall Kubeflow. The only thing that to me is not really sort of like that I'm trying to understand how to best handle is indeed that the vulnerability scanning is already done. So
This
I
is
would
actually
like
a
to.
problem with everything, right? Like, because that's why the code scanning is the best solution, because it's like most of the time it's not a real vulnerability, you know, like.
Yeah, but I like this scorecard because it goes beyond like CVs, like it's showing you kind of like the healthiness of the project that you were speaking earlier about. So this one is also, for example, I can tell you, since we merged the PR from Adam, we were at about a score of 8.3, and now we've done the work in order to move the score even to 8.5, which I think is like we were receiving meaningful suggestion out of this tool as well to sort of like how you call it make it more robust, the GitHub Actions, for example, and things like this. So there is a value in this tool. I'm only seeing is like there are some limitations as well that I'm trying to.
I wonder if we could do it without using it on the repo, you know what I mean? Like without advertising it or something, you know, if it's something that we just get value intermittently for. Anyway, let's so I don't think these are going to block graduation. Andre, can we
No, absolutely not.
yeah, can we, I mean, thank you for the input. It's very, very helpful. And we should be trying to, any learning you get, we should share to everyone. But Andre,
Yeah,
what's our next
so
step to get the,
yeah, so I guess like the question is like, do we want to enable this? I guess like this workflow that Adam created, which is run regularly, right? For scorecard, right? And I mean, I still don't know. I mean, I'm still not sure if we should really expose this badge to the README. I
that's
think
what I
that's
mean. Yeah.
optional,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because then I guess Mateo, like everyone can see the
It means
vulnerabilities.
we're endorsing it as something that we're trying to do as well, right? Like if it's not our goal, like if it has vulnerabilities that if like that's just not how we do vulnerabilities, then it's not particularly, you know,
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So yeah, maybe like if we don't see any value, maybe we can remove the scorecard from README badge. And for the workflows, we should, follow up with Adam. Like if this makes sense, we can leave it, right? And I know you've been merges for Model Registry, but I don't think we merges for other repos as of now, right?
I mean, it's up to the working
And-
group to choose what they do. It's like, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, if it is best practice, like it's recommended for the security team, maybe we should just enable it, right?
Well, I don't if I don't want to have a situation where, you know, people are very like there's like things like FedRAMP and SIGGRAPH and other things. Like there's like requirements that sometimes people get confused where they see a vulnerability that's disclosed even though it's not a real vulnerability. I would prefer that the source of truth for vulnerabilities be the CVEs disclosed from the GitHub repo or other trusted sources, you know?
Yeah, but from my understanding, this scorecard doesn't really add anything, right? So,
It just
um,
becomes a place where someone could say, hey, it's not secure, even though it's just not how we do vulnerabilities.
is it true? Because if I'm looking for like model registry workflow, I don't see any reports there. Like if you go to the model registry GitHub, let me share one of the links with you.
Don't
So,
share the security page on anything, but
yeah, so basically it's a workflow that we run right regularly, like every I guess every
It's
day
run,
probably.
like on a weekly basis, but also
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
I
So
think
do you know what exactly it generates this workflow?
So this one will generate two things. It will generate the scorecard page that you've seen earlier,
Okay.
and it generates the entries for the same things that you didn't achieve a score of 10 as
Okay.
a GitHub security tab entry. So
Okay. I
it's sort
see.
of like it's giving you like the concrete action point that you could go into for in order
Mm-hmm.
to achieve a better score in the scorecard. So
Okay.
I
I
have to
see.
say, in general, I like this instrument. I think it's adding some value in addition to CV scanning, because this
Mm.
is like about the healthiness of the project, the fact that the project is well maintained from open source principle, as Adam was
Okay.
saying in the Slack. The only thing that I'm trying to wiggle around is that there is this section about vulnerability scanning that I don't think it should be there because we already have
Okay.
Thrivey and
Yeah, I see, I see. So basically, yeah, it says like, for example, if you pin some dependency, you should not do this, right? Or you should have maybe relax all this, and it just give
yeah.
you like this best practices, right, to maintain the project. Yeah, I see. That makes sense.
I mean,
But
it
it still
seems
supports, yeah, everything with security tab, right?
it feels like
So
I mean you're definitely uploading the net result. I think that's what it's saying, right? You're uploading the like a one line. I don't think it would be uploading hundreds of things into the artifacts, right? Like sorry, into the code scanning.
No, actually, for some you get like the entry one per file and the line number, so
Uh,
it's very detailed. For others, like the CVE IDs, is just one line entry that collapses all of them. It's telling your project looks like is affected by these CVE's IDs,
I
and
feel
you
like
just
that's like trivia. So it's using just an open source scanning package, right? It's not yeah, right.
it's using OpenVuln, which is
Okay.
yet another vulnerability scanning tool. And I've raised a GitHub issue for this, what is called the OSSF score correction to understand, is it possible to remove only that section? Because if we can remove that section, actually, I'm very happy with this instrument, I have to say.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, I think
And
overall, I think I agree. Like it gives us additional best practices on top of Trivia and Fossa.
yeah,
Yeah, like overall, yeah, I think yeah the question is like how much value it will give for the end users because I think it's mostly like for the project maintenance, right? Supply chain attacks, as I can see, right? That Adam was talking about, but um,
What
yeah,
does code scanning from GitHub use? Because I often see similar issues from that what you're describing. Does code scanning use the same thing?
it's using like CodeQL. I understand it's like a
Okay.
GitHub thingy.
But I wonder
yeah.
what that uses internally because it feels like some of those issues are quite similar. But yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway,
Well, I think more important. So I think more important here is so ask maintainers. So security like team, right? They prepare the audit doc, right? We're not going to discuss it right now, but we definitely need maintainers to take a look at this doc. I think it's like 40 plus pages and see what we can address in terms of their recommendations at least. I think this is like kind of P1, P0 task for maintainers right now.
okay, so
That
who hasn't reviewed? Do we have a list of people?
Yeah, everyone, right? I think
Okay.
Adam published it. Yeah, I think he published it like last Friday. Actually, it was yesterday. So yeah, so we
Okay.
need yeah, everyone to take a look and
So maybe we
give
should
their
make a
thoughts.
private doc with the people we want to share it with, and then how are we going to do the review? Is it like a Google Doc or is it a?
Yeah, we already have like the PDF in the private channel.
I mean,
So this is how we
yeah.
can.
Do we want to
Let
make
me
like
ask.
a commentable GitHub? Sorry, GitHub.
Yeah,
Google
let
Doc.
me ask Adam how like they want us to give our thoughts on this PDF, right?
I mean, I think they obviously it's just from their perspective. Is there another loop that they expect us to go back on with them, or is it just that they've delivered the report and then it's like their hands are clean? You know. So what I'm saying is, I doubt they, because they're a company, right? They're an auditing company. I doubt they're expecting to do. They've audited, right? They've done their audit, right? Like
Yeah, I just asked him. Let's see, like we can follow up on the thread there. But overall, I think we definitely need to review this, right, and start addressing some issues that's been raised there.
yeah. And well, that's and I think a good place to do them is if they're legitimate ones, we should raise them in the private issue section. Like in the security disclosure we could even ask them to raise it so that they get the credit if they would like. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
let's follow up for this, yeah, in Slack.
So what I'm saying is, I think the way once we identify the actual issues, we should triage them as if they're raised by a user. So like go into the GitHub
Okay.
security disclosure, raise it, and then we triage it and say yes, it's real, no, it's not. And then once it gets fixed, it gets a CVE published. Otherwise,
So you mean like sending the report to Y security tab, right? Like what we ask for in
otherwise
the.
they might raise a bunch of CVEs on those issues themselves. You know what I mean? Like I just worry that I want to have responsible disclosure just like any other issue would be. So we could maybe encourage them to. We should do a review ourselves, and then we should say yes, please raise security issues on all these. Like we should do a basic review, but then the way we triage it should be the same as any other report, right? Which is
Yeah, and this security advisory only will be visible for maintainers, right? In the
and people
security.
with the security reviewing role that we talked about.
Okay.
So and that's kind of what I'm like, because obviously any security audit, like this is a unique one because we asked them to do it, or CNCF asked them to do it, but
Yeah.
still we should follow the normal process, which is if you discover an issue with Kubeflow, please raise it on the security tab, and then we triage it evaluate if it's real. But we should probably, before we tell them to bulk raise them, because they'll bulk raise like 20 of them, I'm sure, or however many there are. We could look at ones that are like everywhere, you know, like maybe they've got a report which is like every single project has this problem or something like that. And those don't have a direct CVE kind of connection. Well, they might, but they're not like.
Yeah, let me ask him about maybe, yeah, we should open this, security advisories, right, for every project, right? So maintainers can triage
We should
them.
triage, yeah. And so, but we should probably go through the report first just to confirm there's no weird ones. But after
Yeah,
that, yes.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, because I think that's the best way to get action to take place.
Mm.
But we should still review the report. But just like any other audit, right? If everyone's got different ideas, go ahead, Dave. But
From
Right.
the registry working group, I think that we already addressed a couple of them, and I see that in the PDF, they already sort of like acknowledged that we addressed them. In the PDF, I'm noting a new one, so we'll definitely dispatch internally to have a look at it. Thank you for raising that to our attention.
Yeah, I actually saw some of those reports in the pipelines already being created. So yeah, I think it's definitely
did
a
they
good
raise them or did someone else?
No, someone else actually throughout the years been raised there. I'm not sure if, KFP team really triaged them.
Because they could have already rejected them for some reason, right? Like it's
No, they're still open actually since
okay.
like
Oh, I think
anyway,
pipelines used to be done through Google's system, right? By HackerOne. So
okay.
that's so there's probably a lot of historical reports through there. But yes.
Anyway, let me follow up with this and ask Adam if once after review of the doc week we can ask we can ask them to maybe open this
So from our
security.
perspective, though, our goal is just to get graduated, and so we obviously need to respond to the security issues. That's a good thing to do. But is there anything else we need to do before then? Like, so these ones have already been merged. I'll strike through them. So we've merged that. Did we end up linking to the different FOSSA software bill of materials?
Yeah, so for so I've done actually updates for KTIP. So I think the only remaining is notebooks and pipelines as of now, if I remember correctly, for
No,
FOSSA.
someone else looks like they've done them.
No, I'm talking about different things. I'm talking about the FOSSA's fixes, right, for licenses.
Yes.
So yeah, I just I think I fixed the issue for KTP yesterday for all the incompatible licenses. But we should do the same for pipelines and for notebooks, right? So we can enable the FOSSA scans.
I think they're already enabled on notebooks, but I have to check.
Related to sort of like a side related to this item, what we are doing in Modern Registry as well, we are looking into attaching a SPDX SBOM to the container images. That I know that was kind of like a point that we discussed in the past. So we are doing some progress over there, and we are just looking into publish them as an attachment to the GitHub container registry that we are using for publishing the images, so that you get just in the standard way the SPDX BOM for each of the container image rather than going through some others BOM. It will still be an open point about the Python wheels, but I think that at least starting with the container registry, sorry, with the container images could be a great way.
But how do you generate them?
So there is like a SIFT GitHub action that can generate it for you. So you sort of like wire it in the same workflow that is producing the images. We've had some progress, although I'm not super fully happy just yet with the overall setup, because the SPDX is now generated. I have a PR open that does it, but it's not signed. So sort of like the best practice would ask you that not only you produce the SBOM, but also you sign it. So this will be done in a second iteration. But at first I wanted to show that it's possible to generate the SBOM concurrently to generating the images or publishing the images to the JSGR.
Yeah, it's mostly like for the releases, right? You're talking about.
Yeah.
Because FOSSA only give you the master branch, right?
No, for image. He's talking about doing one per image.
Okay.
Yeah.
And attaching it to the image in the metadata, I think.
You attach it as like another OCI container that is sort
So
of like a
instead of doing this via Docker inspect, right? You can do this. You have repair reports, right?
Well, Docker inspect, that's what that's retrieving, right?
Sorry, no Docker, Docker's SBOM, right?
Isn't
It
that
gives
what
you.
this retrieves?
Yeah, so I think it gives you the SBOM for this particular image, right?
But does that retrieve the one that you're talking about, Matteo, or does that generate a new one?
So we are planning to use the cosine tool to attach it so that is compatible with OCI. It's not only a Docker thing, but it will have a very analogous mechanism to show the SBOM for the container image.
What I'm saying is when you run this command, do we know that probably just retrieves the one that you would tag in that way, right?
I think that this will work. I'm pretty positive that this will work in the way that Docker attaches the SBOM, but I would like to use the Sift and the cosine tool because that is the one that is sort of like governed by the OpenSSF.
Yeah, I just looked at it. Yeah, Docker SBOM just runs SYFT. It just runs that. That's all it does. Yeah, okay. So
But
this
then
is
it attaches in their own way. So it's like it's provided like in the index for the image. It's like you have your architecture, this bomb, the architecture, this bomb. Instead, what cosine OpenSSF tool does is that it attaches as this container that is using the OCI referrer API to say, hey, for this container image, I know this bomb, and also you can attach a signature to it, which is, I think, the best practice. So I just wanted to inform that we are investigating this area as well in the model registry.
cool.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted. Like, Mata, if you think that this is something useful, we can do for other projects. Let's follow up. I mean, I just want to understand, like, whether this is something which is give user additional value, like in addition to, just asking them to do Docker SBOM, right, for themselves if they want to, right? Because we already have FOSSA, right? We already have these reports. We have TOML files, so that makes sense to have this on images. Just want to know, like, if this is something really needs, right? Some of the projects have a lot of images, right? So
Yeah, it's like at least we have a few, and sort of like what we think is that at least in this way we have like a standard way to attaching this bomb. Then indeed, like if there is a more comprehensive way of doing it, more than happy to discuss. But since like I think that it
okay.
actually provides value to the supply chain because as well not only you have the report but it's also signed when you publish this image eventually, not today because this is not what we are implementing at this moment, but it will be a second step for the work that we are doing.
Okay, cool. Anyway,
All right. Yeah. So maybe just last thing about self. What is it? GTR, right? Doing our technical review. So I mean, I think we opened this PR 3 weeks ago. We haven't got any comments, so maybe we can just merge it and then follow up once due diligence or other folks have any comments for this.
have you linked this in the graduation proposal?
Yeah. So it's required there.
I'm assuming you'll need to update it, the link.
Yeah, once we merge it, I will update my issue to point to this doc, right?
Maybe we should say, I guess, when do we should probably merge this then.
Yeah, let's merge
We should
these
probably
things.
have someone, we should either have a date that we say everyone has to review by. Also,
Yeah.
that looks like a typo. But
Yeah, let me make a comment that we will merge it by end of this week if we don't have any comments.
that looks like a typo.
Yeah, it's
Cool. Okay. So hopefully we can get some. Is there anything we can do to put pressure to review Kubeflow sooner for the CNCF?
yeah, I mean, I hope really George will help us, but right now, if anyone can help us to prioritize it or have any connection, definitely keep us posted, right? Like if something that is required from our side, that will be super helpful.
Do we think we're going to hit November?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot say it, right? But it's really depends on CNCF. So um, let's see how it goes.
We should keep pushing. I mean, make sure that we say, hey, yeah, we think we're ready. If
Yep.
We got all the interview people and everything now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's right. It's good to actually call out. So for the interviews, I think we have one more maintainer, sorry, adopter. We're still waiting for we still I think we need one more probably end user to fill the request, to fill the form, right, for the interview, just in case CNCF will need more people to get interviewed. So if you have any ideas like or any end users who can help us, maybe you can let us know. But I don't if I remember correctly, Matthew, you can also double check with your users,
Yeah, I
right?
can. If we end up, well, I think we were talking about getting Oracle on the list, but
Yeah. So I can follow up with Akash for this.
yeah, if nothing happens, we can push harder. But yeah, there's other users as well we could do. But yeah,
Hey, we may want to put out some type of post about how close we are and ask for user support, but also help kind of, I don't mean pressure the CNCF, but build more, like the CNCF sees that it's coming. If 10 of us post out or repost something, it'll show up on people's feeds and perhaps prod the CNCF people to keep us closer to the top of the list.
I think someone did post on the Kubeflow page, but I agree with the sentiment. Josh, I think that is probably a good idea. We should coordinate with George just to make sure we don't step on anyone's toes. But I think if there's proof that everyone's excited about it happening, I think that's probably the best way to get them to prioritize. Because in the end, CNCF's mainly like a big marketing thing, right? So,
Yeah, that's right. So Josh, any thoughts like how we can make this post? Like, do you want to post something on social media or?
I think we already posted some stuff, right? But
yeah, I think we probably have the content somewhere already, right?
Yep.
And probably somebody's already done it. But I mean, we're having these meetings, we're stepping forward, and every 2 weeks we should just keep beating the drum. That we're one step closer, we're one step closer, and one step closer. And then if all of us can kind of repost, so we have like 10 people reposting, and liking and whatever, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah. I think once we opened the application, the outreach team had the post. So it was 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks ago, right? Like we can definitely ask them to have another post to call out for end users if you want to be more specific. I just like wondering what kind of updates you think we should do in addition to the one that we've done 2 weeks ago.
Well, so if I'm an end user, right, what do I need to know? What's my most important thing to know is how when is it going to graduate, and is there anything I can do to help, and what's the long pole in the tent? You know what I mean?
I think we're mostly there, right, in terms of actual things people can do other than the testimony. But I think what you're saying about the pressure, right?
Yeah. Well, if it's like, hey, we need one more person. Hey, we're close. We're aiming for sometime in this quarter. Having another person would help, perhaps, just fine tune some stuff.
Yep.
And if we got most of the security, like we're 90% of the way through the security stuff, whatever. Just something that says, hey, we're still here, we're still trying. You know what I mean? We're getting closer.
Yeah, I think So I think it's a good call out. Let me just post this to Valentina and Tarek to see if they can help us with this post. Maybe to tell that, hey, like we're very close to graduation. We complete all the required steps, but we're looking for like one more end user to help us, be be interviewed by CNCF. So if you're an end user and if you want to be part of this journey, please let us know, right? Something like this.
Yeah. I think that would be a good one, just to get out there. And then, in 2 weeks when we get together, there's going to be another thing that we can post out there and get, you know what I mean? And until we get to November. So you don't want to bug people, but you do want to remind people, right? So.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
All right.
I would definitely. All right.
Cool. Good job, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Like, it's definitely like a lot of work already been done since April. I think it's a good thing that we kind of prioritize it. Again, I think this is super important for us, like overall, like where are we going towards to? And I think being the first graduation project under CNCF who actually do AI, it's very important milestone. And definitely, CNCF should will also get all the benefits for this, right? Because more people use cloud-native tools, more people see the value of Kubernetes, and definitely like we will be there on the top. So
Well, I mean, look, I think there was a lot, and maybe there's a personal comment on some of this stuff, is that, there was a lot of talk at the beginning that, Kubeflow, its documentation, it was hard to use, a lot of other stuff, right? And
yep,
I think the fact that we have, and security gaps and some of the other stuff, the fact that we have tried to follow a process to improve and we're going through the CNCF ought to be like, look, we're listening, and, as a community, users need to pitch back in, right? If you're getting financial benefit about using the tool, it's time for you guys to say, yeah, you did what you said. Now I'm going to help.
yep,
Just kind of off the cuff thought there, right?
yep. Yeah, makes
So,
sense. Makes sense.
okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely graduation will happen. Many people in early, especially organizations see the project maturity, and when the project become graduation, they definitely, uh, see the value of this. Like overall, since CNCF doing the great job to promote the graduated projects, so definitely they will help us to have more exposure. Because what I found out, there's still many people who just never heard about Kubeflow before, right? Like they, even like we just had started this call with discussion with Sahil, right? I guess like you just started to learn this project, right? You never heard about this before, so that's definitely will give us more exposure, right? Um, yeah. There was something, Sahil?
Yeah, so I was saying that I feel that the visibility is not as much as the other CNCF project. That might be due to graduation not being done, is one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Argo CD is widely used. If you've seen other Kubernetes projects are widely used, but related to AI space, even when I started to search about Kubeflow or the related projects, I was having hard time to even land on the first GitHub repo, which is Kubeflow related to AI. So I think the
Mm-hmm.
visibility is a major factor which is missing, is what I feel.
Yeah, definitely agree. We want when people Google AI on Kubernetes or Cloud Native AI, like they will see Kubeflow as the front page because this is definitely like one-stop shop for them to go, right? And start to explore how they can do AI on Kubernetes. And as of now, again, we need more, promotion for this, right? More exposure and more socialize our effort right there. Um, yeah, I hope this is what I hope once we get graduation with all this marketing that CNCF adds to the grading portion will have.
Your experience is
Oh,
Um,
Josh, I think we
yeah.
lost you.
no, I was just saying, Sunil's experience we should recognize,
Yeah.
right? And feed back to the CNCF. I mean, here's Adobe, one of the top companies in the world, right? And we've got somebody who's, looking for a project, and we should be showing up like pretty much at the top of any open source ML project on Kubernetes. I can't think of something else that should show up before us. You know what I mean? It's hard for
Yeah,
me to believe.
I think it's tricky because when people usually hear about Kubernetes, they think about end users and vendors, right? So and that is why they always when you Google AI and Kubernetes, you will see Gke, OpenShift, you will see Azure ML and etc. Right? You don't really see Knative, for example, right? You don't see Kserve, right? Because it's very niche, right? And they kind of like have this kind of a blocker for us to put end users who maybe use Kubernetes on premises, right? Or maybe who don't want to use vendor solutions come to us, right? Um, so this is kind of we need to find a way how we can, be complementary to all those vendor solutions, right?
I think that's what we've been trying to do there, right? Make our tools the base of those so that those vendors don't go and build their own versions of each of our tools that we are like, and then they sell themselves effectively, right? Where if Google, when they sell you GK, is like, hey, a good tool to use is Kubeflow. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah. Unfortunately, like in the stage that we are right now, like we're not there yet because all those companies they build their own internal systems, right? Like we see the success of Ray, for example, right? Because Ray has been used by many companies, and many vendors actually give you a way to run this on their platforms, right? But this is not their main kind of, I would say, baseline for their services, right? Because Vertex AI is a huge platform, right? Which has a lot of different internal tools, which have their own operators and their own other systems, right? Which probably not really open sourced. Um, yeah, so the
then I
question
guess
is.
it's a question of who are we trying to capture, right? Like, because like there are
Mhm.
users who will want managed services. There are users who will not, right? If we don't think those users will ever come to us, we should focus on the ones who we think will, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like in kind of like two-way angle, right? We can get these end users who don't want to get vendor solutions, but at the same time, we can get vendors who want to build something on top, right? Like similar to like the success of Kubernetes, right? Because everyone know about Kubernetes, right? But Kubernetes has been consumed mostly from those providers, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
from
take
a
a look.
maintainer perspective, I think that you've answered the point I was trying to make as well, which
Yeah.
was that the projects are maintained by individuals, yes, but also by companies who,
Mostly, yeah, for Kubernetes, mostly yes, right? It's mostly maintained by vendors, right? Who depends on it because of their business, right? So yes, we have like some end users maintainers, but it's like mostly it's less significant, right?
and yeah, in my experience, releases are usually driven by people who sell a product based on the tool. And because Kubeflow is very unique in that there are multiple vendors involved with the goal of getting more, obviously, I think it has a good opportunity to actually be a neutral standard, where we should be encouraging people to make derived products from it, so that they and then upstream what they change. But
Yep.
anyway,
Yeah, I think it's a great discussion. Maybe maybe it's a definitely good topic to talk about. I mean, we should have outreach calls somehow, or maybe we should call this in the community calls. But I definitely, would love to have some strategy, especially for people who never heard about this project, right? How we can get them, and explain them the clear value of Kubeflow within cloud native ecosystem, right?
I think it's not just about that though. It's like just because someone hasn't heard of it doesn't mean that they would be the target audience, right? Like it's very rare that someone would have, for example, most people in the world haven't heard about Kubernetes. We live in a world where it's very normal, right? But even most
I just
IT people at companies have never heard about Kubernetes. Most AI, whatever the C-level equivalent position, probably haven't heard about Kubernetes at these normal companies.
That's also true. I think like that is why cloud native or scalable AI definitely maybe will give us more marketing, right? In terms of, I think we discussed this before once we try to have this headline for what is Kubeflow, right? It's not mostly about Kubernetes, it's about how you scale the AI, right? And
I
yeah,
think
like
those traditional companies, in my experience, buy from vendors, right? So if we want Kubeflow to be used and supported, vendors need to be the ones pushing it. We can't, as an open source project, sell to everyone in the world. We, as individual companies, are the ones that should be doing it. All of us represented here, either to our internal users or to the external. If you're a vendor, like Red Hat, I think
yeah.
that's anyway. It's unclear. The strategy as a community, I think our goal should be to be a neutral place, which makes a set of tools which are useful for everyone to build on, and then the rest will happen pretty naturally. But that's my
Yep.
feeling. I don't know. But
All right. I know we're at time. So again, great discussion. Again, like I think we should again follow up on this outside of graduation, all the discussion, have more community ideas and suggestions, right? Because I think this is very important for us to, especially right now with the trend, more people will use Kubernetes for their AI workloads, and we definitely should be an answer for them how they can do training, inference, data processing, right? Pipelines, etc. So interactive development. There are many, many different things. So I hope we can build this strategy. So.
yeah, we're pretty well positioned. I think we just need to capitalize on it and get people involved. But yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna
Sounds
stop
good.
the
Thank
recording.
you, guys. Yeah. Thank you. See you, I guess. See you soon. See you, everyone.